Ooh, my goodness, you guys. It is hot. Yesterday felt like the first day of summer. Yesterday it was in the mid-80s. It was very hot. I got a good old tan. I was out here almost all day. Me and the kitties. You could see what I've done. I've planted a bunch of stuff. Let's see how my impatiens are coming. They're shade plants, but I don't know if they need sun or not. Obviously not. But right now, you can see I am widening the end of this bed right here. I have to leave a couple bricks there because there's 2 ant hills under each of those bricks. Or there's a ant hill under each of them. So you can see where the bed was last time. Right there. And I'm just widening it by a foot because I need more planting space, and I'm taking a bunch of, you can see here, of this native sedum. So it's all over here, and it's really it's a really aggressive plant. So I am moving all of this spot right here. This whole big spot was just covered in this sedum. You can see it right here. And it's not buried that deep, but it spreads very fast and very efficiently because it is a native plant. I think it's a native. I'm not 100% sure, but it does grow here on the side of the road, like no problem, everywhere. It's like a lot of places. So I'm moving all of that. I dug it all up last night because I want to make room for more flowers right here. Just because you can see this, you could see this part of the garden from the side of the road, and I want to make it really like showy and really, I don't know. I might put like an anchor plant here because most of this dies off in the winter. I mean, the sedums don't, but pretty much everything else does. And you can see I moved 2. You guys, I've never seen violas get this big, and I think it might be just like the soil that they're in, or maybe the fertilizer I put on them. But I've never seen violas get this big. Look at them. Like, this is one plant. Like, all of these violas that are here, it was just 5 plants. That was it. So I took the white one out, and I took one of the purple ones and I put it up front because I'm going to be growing other things here. This is going to get really big. These larkspur are going to get really big, and they'll be flowering all summer long. I put some devil's lettuce in here. I've got a lot of other stuff growing in there too. My poppies that I moved, they are not looking so great, but we're not going to give up on them. We're just going to let them stay in the ground, and they should recover. Look at it. It's like, why is it doing that? They didn't look like this yesterday. Yesterday they were lush. They were like this one here. Well, I hope I get some poppies out of those. I had to fertilize this batch of alliums over here yesterday because they're not flowering. Alliums are obviously onions, and onions are super heavy feeders. They need a lot of food. They need a lot of nutrients available to them. These have been in the ground for 2 years. This is the 2nd year, and you could see how sad they look. They're so small compared to the ones I put in over the fall. See, I put these in the fall, and look at them. They're already flowering. They look really beautiful, and the other ones just don't. So I used the rest of my fertilizer that I had and put it around the plants and got a lot of the weeds out of here. Look, this valerian's getting ready to flower. So cool. I've never seen the valerian flower before. See, look at these small alliums. I'm gonna have to move them somewhere else. It's just so sad. I need somebody so I can put my arbor up. You guys, look how beautiful the mountains look. Yeah, it's hot out here today, and it looks like we're gonna have 2 more days of cold weather, like Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Oh, you can see I planted some coleus. I planted this lime colored coleus, and then back there, those are just cuttings from the plants I had back here last year. So I don't have to keep buying coleus because they just die in the winter. So yeah, I planted some sedum here. I'm hoping this Japanese maple comes back. If not, if it doesn't do anything this year, I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm just going to throw it away because last year it didn't do anything. So you can see I put the white pansies along this little path right here. So it's going to be white pansies mixed with nigella. So you can see all the nigella. All back there, that's all nigella. There's just a lot of things. And you can see back there, I took all the weeds out of right here. There were so many weeds, you guys. So many. So I took them all out and I planted a bunch of things. Corn and all kinds of stuff. Allison had me buy that coconut and then she didn't eat it and it rotted, so. Look at my little guys. Yeah, these alliums are kind of disappointing this year. I mean, all the ones I put in over the fall are doing good. I'm going to have to like heavily amend and feed those alliums so next year they come up. So let's see how the air plants are doing. I've had the air plants over here, and I thought about, because I have that cattle panel from last year that I grew the gourds on, and I thought maybe I can like wrap that paneling around this greenhouse and grow things up on it so it's more sturdy. Here's the air plants. They're getting their summer color. They start to get like this red tint to them, especially these smaller ones over here. Oh, they're so pretty. All my bark. This is all pine bark. I save it for ritual, things like that. I've got to water this guy. He's looking dry, and we don't want these drying out because these, see, look, there's the amaranth. The amaranth is starting to sprout, you guys. So exciting. The little tiny red, they're teeny tiny red sprouts. Hard to see, but let's see. We've got some other things in here coming up. I've got to water all this stuff. Got to water these. Those still feel kind of wet. Allison's here. She's asleep still. Yeah. So let me water these things really quick. It's amazing how quickly the leaves grow in once they start. It's like you don't notice it one day and then the next day it's like fully shade. Look at the maple tree, you guys. She's looking beautiful. And the walnut tree is starting to leaf out. You could see. Part of me thinks I was put here on this land specifically to guard these 2 trees, because I've heard several people say they want to cut them down. And and like my yard is the only yard on the block that I let grow up into like a natural meadow, and I keep things as they are up there for like a habitat. And you can see what I've done. I've put all this so when you leave piles of wood in your yard, it creates food, it creates shelter, it creates a lot of biodiversity in your yard for the different species. It creates fungus, mushroom growth. There's just so many benefits to leaving piles of wood in your yard. So I did that up here. I did like a whole line that goes up to the top, and then up there underneath that cedar tree, there's a big like a big bushel under there that a bunch of animals have probably already claimed as their home. I heard somebody, I can't remember who he is, but he is a fellow content creator. I will look him up and I'll put his name here. He said it so beautifully. He said this analogy so beautifully. You know, we talk, as you're learning about plants, you learn invasives and you learn things that are native to the area. And when the plants are native to the area, they are a lot more beneficial. They are part of an ecosystem. They are working with everything else around them. They're working to make life better for the things that come in contact with it. Whereas if you're an invasive species, you are competing with the stuff that's already there. You're taking over, you're creating monocultures, you're just not being productive to the environment. You're not being a part of an ecosystem. You're like an island taking over in a place that you don't belong. So you could be that way if you apply those same thinking habits to yourself. Are you acting as a native species, or are you acting as an invasive? Are you contributing to the beauty of this earth? Are you contributing to your community? Are you contributing to the betterment of anything? Or are you solely just taking and you know, exerting your will on situations? Like you have the choice to be either. Us as humans, we have that choice, thank goodness. You know, we're not stuck in the plant kingdom where we are forced to be one thing or another. You have the choice to be a part of the ecosystem and think of yourself as part of something, as part of the environment, not separate from it. When you think of yourself as separate from the environment, you start to feel alone, you start to feel lost, you start to feel all these negative feelings and emotions. But if you think of yourself as part of the ecosystem, as part of the nature that you enjoy, as part of something that you can exercise your will to make it better and more enjoyable for everybody else, like, why wouldn't you not want to do that? Just something for you guys to think about. You can see here though, I put my coffin rock here. I found that down by the creek. So we're just hanging out here, me and the cats. I wanted to share this beautiful day with you guys. You can see all the beautiful growth on the trees. Everything looks so pretty. I feel so blessed and grateful to live beneath these two trees and have all this land to grow beautiful things on and really get to know myself through the garden. That's one thing, one of the greatest things the garden has brought me is a greater understanding of myself and my role in things. And I hope that if you explore gardening, it does the same thing for you. Look here, you guys. I think we have my marshmallow came up. I think this is marshmallow. I hope it's marshmallow because I planted some, but you know, I did not take note of what I planted and where I planted it. So we just have to wait. Everything's like a surprise. We just wait and see what comes up and where it comes up. You can see all the work I've done here, getting all the weeds out of this bed. looks so much better. I love you all so much. I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday, and I will see you again tomorrow.